Hey, what's up, folks? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC San Antonio. Rafael dos Anjos against Leon Edwards is your main event there from the AT&T Centre. Coming off UFC Sacramento, where I think I went 9-3 with my picks, so fairly decent. Nailed a load of underdogs, hit my underdog of the week, which initially was Josh Emmett, and then I added Benito Lopez into that. The funny thing is, I had 5 bets on the card. 4 of them were underdogs. They all hit. But I actually never took my own advice and bet Josh Emmett, which is silly. So yeah, I bet Ryan Hall. I bet Jermaine Durandamy, Benito Lopez, and there was Andrei Feely. What were the 4 dogs I hit, with the only loss coming with being Ricky Simone, who I had in a parlay with Mike Rodriguez when he was against Vellante, so it was just a straight pick. But I had a profitable night. It was a nice night altogether. So, but it was one of those nights for dogs, and I can see a couple of dogs actually in here that I really, really like. So before we get into it, smash that like button and see if we can go over 100 likes again. I really appreciate it. That's another week that we've did that. Thank you so much for that. If you're new to the channel, and if you like what you see, subscribe, hit that button up the top there, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when my predictions come out. The goal now from mid-July to the end of the year is to hit 3,000. We've got like 196. I think we can get there. Actually, I didn't think it was, but I think we can get quite close to that number. So if you can, hit the subscribe button and come and join in the chat down below. And if you're going to the card this weekend, let me know, because I know I've got a few viewers from the Texas area. So hopefully you're going to a nice fight card down there. I think it's a fairly decent card. I think there's, like I say, there's some underdogs I do like. Struggling with the main event, I'll be honest with you. There's a couple of fights I'm having a little bit of a rough time with. But, yeah, I'm going to try and see if I can nail some more winners this week and keep my run going after Minneapolis when I was on holiday. And 239 was actually decent, and last week was decent. So one of my viewers out there asked me about my yearly total. I'm going to put that in there. Totally forgot about that, but I'm going to add that back down at the bottom there. So keep an eye on that. So we're going to get into the card right now. Starting off, bantamweight division, Domingo Pilarte against Felipe Colares. Colares, actually, I was not super impressed with him in his debut, but I thought he was tough. I thought he was rugged, and he had that Geraldo de Freitas as an opponent, and that was a tough start for the kid coming in there against that guy. It was a couple of really kind of unknown guys as well. What I like about Colares, from what I've seen on the regionals, is his submission skills. I think he's got a bit of work to do with his striking. I do think he's very wide open for strikes. I think that that was something that's shown very, very clearly in that fight. Also, his takedown defense. When I look at Pilarte, you've seen him on the Contender Series, beat Vince Morales, coming from that southpaw stance, very aggressive, will double up on his shots, never really throws a single strike. So I'm looking forward to it, but it's been a while since we've seen this guy. He has not fought, when was that? I know he's been scheduled to fight a few times, but he is pulled out with injuries and such. So that was away back in 2018. So only a year, really, ran about a year. So I thought it was actually a little bit longer than that. Managed to watch some fights of his against Adrian Yanez and Chris Pham. A beautiful knockout in that Pham fight. But he's also got a lot of submission skills as well, with the majority of his wins coming via submission. I like him in this one. I got in on him early, and another guy I'm about to talk about in a parlay. His odds have really skyrocketed in the last couple of days. I've got a fairly decent line on him. So yeah, I've got Domingo Pilarte. I think his aggression. I just think he's a little bit. I know they've got similar records, but I think he's got a little bit more experience of the better caliber fighter. And I think he is the better fighter. The only thing that put me off is maybe a little bit of rust, but I think he is the better fighter here, and I'm picking him to win. So Domingo Pilarte for the W there. I might actually pick him via stoppage, but Colares showed he's tough. He can take a lot of hits and keep on coming. So I'll go Pilarte in that one there. Mario Bautista against Jin Soo Son. I've been looking forward to seeing Jin Soo Son because he made me sweat pretty badly when he fought Peter Yan. I'm not saying he was ever really looking like he was going to completely roll out and win the fight, but what he did in that fight was, like, Yan's a legit guy in my opinion. You've heard me waffle on about Peter Yan. I think he's got a great chance of becoming champion in 2019. Maybe I was a little bit kind of too quick with that, but came out there, landed some big counter strikes on Peter Yan, got a takedown in there. He did eat a lot in that fight as well, so obviously striking defense is not super up to par, but he gave as good as he got. And gave Peter Yan a very tough fight over there in Russia. There's a lot of these guys coming out there of South Korea that we're starting to see now, and they're really tough. There's another guy next week I was literally watching this afternoon against Gavin Tucker. Loads of guys, and they're heading to South Korea later on this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing if they get any more guys that come in. In this fight here, Bautista, I mean, he came in very short notice against Corey Sandhagen. That's a rough introduction to the UFC. In that one there, and got armbarred in the first there. But Sandhagen is probably close to being a top 5, if not a top 10 guy at the minute. He came out there. He's very long, very unorthodox, and Sandhagen's tough to face. But Bautista, I think it's just a little. He got rushed into the UFC a little bit too early, in my opinion. I think he needs more fights out in the regionals. I think him and Dana White's contender series would have been decent, but obviously he got the call, and when you get the call, you either take it or you don't, and he took it. Most of his wins via submission, coming from, I think it's the Lab out of Phoenix, so it comes from a decent team. Watched his fights with AJ Robb, and there was another one, I think it was one before that, I think it was maybe DeLima, I could be wrong. Decent, but like I said, I think he needs more seasoning. I think this South Korean guy, although he's only got a few more fights, 5 or 6 more fights, I just think he looks a little bit I think he's tougher. I think he's just a little bit quicker. I think he can mix up with takedowns. I think I think Bautista's the bigger guy in this one. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let me check that quickly. 5'9", 5'6", I think that I remember looking at that earlier on. Yeah, so 5'9", 5'6", and he has got a reach advantage. But when I look at it as a fight, I think the more well-rounded fighter is actually Jin Soo Son. I think his aggression is going to pay dividends in this one here. I think he might tie up Bautista a little bit and kind of garner takedowns through that. So I've got him actually parlayed with Pilarte. I think it's plus 120 for those two to win that I got a way back, I want to say 4 or 5 days ago now. The lines have kind of changed a little bit. I don't know what the odds are now, but I know they've went up. So that one might be close to a plus money bet. So I like Jin Soo Son there in that fight to win via decision, I think. This is a really interesting fight. Ray Borg against Gabriel Silva. Now, if you don't know who Gabriel Silva is, you may remember Eric Silva. Fought in the UFC for many a year. Gave many exciting fights, many exciting finishes. Especially he was like kind of a one-round guy where he was very dynamic, very aggressive, very dangerous, and you had to watch out for him. Well, this is his little brother. And I've been really impressed with what I've seen with this kid. I found it hard to actually find full fights on him. He's 8-0. Last fought on Dana White's not Dana White's contender series, LFA, but Dana White's Looking for a Fighter was there. That's what I watched the other day there, and he delivered an absolutely amazing knockout of Jake Heffernan, where Heffernan was wrestling aggressively with the ref for a good 10-15 seconds before he kind of realized, like, what am I doing here? Big power puncher. What I like about him is he's kind of really aggressive, willing to kind of fight in every facet of the game, doesn't really stick to kind of one dynamic of his striking, will throw heavy kicks, will attack the body. Just looks super dangerous. I've seen a few of his fights when he was in Brazil Jungle Fights there, where he's got some big slams, so he's got takedowns there, and I like what I see. And when I look at Ray Borg, he just I had a feeling that fight against Casey Kenny that he would kind of struggle in that fight. I don't know why it was, but I just, with everything that's going on in his life, having to pull out so many fights, financial struggles. I know there was family struggles when I think he took on his sister's daughter full time. So this guy's got a shit ton outside the cage. It's really good fighter, but I just don't know where his head's at. like I say, I think I've only watched maybe 2-3 fights of Silva, but I've seen that he's got big power. He's got takedowns. I think he can get taken down, but I think he can get back to his feet. This kind of surprised me a little bit because when I was looking at it, I thought, right, is this maybe to get Borg back on track against a guy coming off a smaller organization? Like I say, I'm really impressed with what I've seen from Silva, but I don't know where Borg's at now, and I would rather take a shot on Gabriel Silva. And I know his odds. Let me bring up his odds. It's like plus 230, plus 240 actually over here in the UK. So big underdog. I actually fancy taking a shot on him here. I really do. I'm going to take a shot on Gabriel Silva to win this fight, maybe by stoppage, if not by decision. I feel better when I look at it. I feel better being on the side of Gabriel Silva than Borg, and maybe that's been a little bit silly because there's so much experience on the side of Borg and the bigger organization. You've got the newcomer coming into the UFC. I was looking at his Instagram and stuff. He's been kind of all over with his brother when he was fighting in London, and he's been doing a little bit. I think it was Roger Gracie. He was doing a lot of training with him with his jiu-jitsu and stuff. So I think Borg is probably going to get him down in spots, but I think Gabriel Silva's actually going to hurt him in some of the exchanges on the feet. So I'm going to take a flyer on Gabriel Silva. I like what I've seen. Like I say, I've not seen a whole load. I've seen maybe 2-3 fights. I've trailed through YouTube to try and find highlight videos and you name it, just anything I can really get my hands on. But whether I bet him's a different thing. But as a prediction, a pick, I feel more confident on the side of Gabriel Silva and taking a shot on him. So yeah, Gabriel Silva for the win there. Roxanne Modaferri against Jennifer Maia next. I'm actually going to go with Roxanne Modaferri. That woman really impressed me against Antonina Shevchenko. We all knew that she couldn't stick to a stand-up match with Antonina, and she did what she was supposed to do. Went in there, landed a few strikes to kind of keep it competitive, but when she got the opportunity to clinch up, get that takedown, she did so, I want to say 3-4 times, past the guard, and that was definitely her path to victory, and she went in there and did that. I can't remember what her odds were in that fight, but I know there was some people that cashed a really nice underdog there. So much respect to you guys. This is a rematch of 3-4 years ago when they fought in Invicta. Jennifer Maia won that, but when I look at them now, like I'm not super impressed with Jennifer Maia. I think she's one of those Brazilian brawlers that goes out there, kind of swings large, big, I should say, big overhand rights. Not super technical. She's got, I quite like her kicks, her inside or outside kicks. She can tie you up a little bit. But I think that Roxanne's path to victory here is definitely going to be takedowns. It's what she did against Barb Honchak. It's what she tried to do against Nico Montano. That's probably her game. If she can get you to the ground and establish and blanket you, she can win fights through that. Definitely. She's got so much experience now. Like, she's probably cording on 40 fights. That's a lot in women's MMA. And like I say, when I look into Jennifer Maia, I wasn't super impressed with her victory over Alexis Davis. I thought it was a little bit close. I thought the shots that she landed were more effective in the fight because Davis definitely landed more. She got a takedown, but she made Davis pay when she missed, and that was the kind of the big defining factor in that fight. But yeah, I would rather take a shot in Roxanne Modaferri. I don't know the odds for that one. I'm guessing Roxanne's a dog. Yeah, she is. So it's actually closed up a little bit. So I'm going to take Roxanne Modaferri to get these takedowns on the feet. I think she'll realise that she needs to get it to the ground because this girl's probably just a better striker. She's more technical, and we all know that Roxanne's striking is not overly great. Sometimes she throws some really bad kicks and so on. But I think she'll get takedowns, and I think she'll win a very, very close split decision. So I'm going to go Roxanne Modaferri for the win there via split decision. Sam Alvey against Klidson Abreu is up next. Initially I was kind of on Sam Alvey, and I was thinking to myself, like, dude, it's like, is really Sam Alvey the kind of pick to make here? And I'm like, he's lacking in offense. He's been stopped twice in a row now. So is his durability starting to fade? That is something that was a big thing to me, because beforehand he was one of those guys that he could take a shot. I know he got knocked out by Derek Brunson away back in a couple of years ago, whenever that was. But he could usually take a fairly decent shot. But now he's coming off 2 big stoppages. Jimmy Crute knocked him out down in Australia. Old Nog knocked him out down in Brazil. And we all know, like, he's not great, but he's decent. He's a decent fighter. He's a hard out for a lot of people who's got big power himself. And if he counters you right and hits you with a fairly decent shot, he can knock you out. But like, I just don't like how little he throws. He's willing to sit back and then kind of counter and kind of run off. And yeah, his fights aren't great to watch. I hate watching Sam Alvey fights, if I'm being honest with you. Klidson Abreu, like I said, I was super impressed with him before his UFC debut. And I think I want to say I bet him in his UFC debut. Off the top of my head, I think I did. Who was he against again? I've totally forgot. Oh, Ankalaev. Yeah, I did. He was a plus 300, plus 325. I think it was a plus 300 dog. And that line just thought, right, I'm going to take a shot on him. And didn't play out for me. But yeah, I think this is going to be, I'm hoping, a better fight for him here, where he's going to be the aggressor. He's definitely the better guy when it comes to the ground fighting. And yeah, he tried his best in that fight with Ankalaev. Ankalaev was just a little bit too kind of seasoned on the feet for him. But I think he's going to be the aggressor in the fight here. If he can get it to the ground, I think he can really work on Sam Alvey down there. But Sam Alvey's a hard dude to take down as well. We've not seen him kind of planted down all too much in his UFC tenure. I know that I think Amiv got him one time, Rashadano got him. And off the top of my head, that's all I can really remember in his UFC fights. There's probably a couple other guys in there that I've missed. But I just feel Klidson Abreu is going to be the better, more aggressive fighter in this one. I think he's going to win. I'm not super impressed with what I see from Sam Alvey. He's definitely he's definitely, I think, on his way out. So we'll see if this young kid's going to come in here and actually put the beating on him and get the win there. So I'll go Klidson Abreu. I'll actually maybe go submission in that one there. Women's bantamweight division, Raquel Pennington against Irene Aldana. If you've heard me before, I actually really like Irene Aldana as a fighter. I like her boxing skill. I just think she's a fighter that's definitely making progress and looking better every time we see her. But I'm still, and like I've bet on her a few times and cashed on her, but I'm still not seeing, she's still fighting closer with lower level opposition than I initially thought that she would. That fight with Betchko here before she got that submission in the third round, she was, like, it was very even striking wise, and I gave Irene Aldana the kind of definitely, I think she thought she was a more technical striker with the boxing, but Betchko here was kind of given as good as she got before getting submitted in that third round. The Lucy Puralova fight, a lot of people were on Lucy in that fight. I was actually on Irene Aldana. I thought it was very close. If it went to Puralova, I really couldn't complain that much. And then Bernardo, she had an opportunity to get that girl out of there and just didn't really take it, but won the unanimous decision in that fight there. So she's shown that she's evolving a little bit. Like, you wouldn't have seen too many people picking her via submission against Betchko here. I certainly didn't see that coming. I thought she would have boxed the nose off her, and she kind of did to an extent, but not as effectively as I thought she would. Very kind of high output, like I said, good range to her. I like her as a fighter. I'm kind of thinking this might be a fight. I think this might be her toughest fight. And I know she had Chikagian, who's an awkward fighter to fight against. But I think that Rocky Pennington is a really tough out here. It'd be interesting to see where Rocky's at in her kind of career now, because she's lost a couple. She got beat up from distance against Jermaine Durandam, and we've seen that not unless you're Amanda Nunes, you're not really going to stand in a striking battle and beat Jermaine Durandam. She's one of the best girls on the feet the UFC's ever had. That's just facts. Then got beat up pretty badly against Amanda Nunes down in Brazil, taken down, really beat up. I thought she kind of quit on the stool. I thought her coaches should have really pulled her out, but she's dogged. She's a very dogged fighter. And she comes forward, all guns blazing, try to take you down, and she's got some decent strikes as well. Like I said, I'm seeing people really super invested or super confident in Irene Aldana, and I know that line opened up as a pick'em, and it's went up a little bit now to where Aldana is, I think, minus 155, minus 150. So fairly sizable favourite. I actually wanted to really bet Aldana. If I could have got like minus 100 or minus 110, I would think about it. But the more that was like a week and a half ago, the more I kind of looked into it, I thought Raquel Pennington's going to give her a fight here, and this is the step up from opponent she's probably faced. I mean, Rocky's went and fought for a title and so on, and beat some former champions out there as well. So yeah, tough fight. I think I'm going to pick Aldana though. I think she's definitely got the better technical striking. Pennington does get hit up really easily. I can maybe see Raquel trying to get this to the ground, and if she can, I think that's a very feasible way for her to win this fight. But something's just pushing me towards Irene Aldana, and I'm going to pick her to win that one there and win probably her biggest fight today, and get I don't think she'll stop Rocky, but I think she'll win a decision. It might be a close split in that one, but yeah. Alex Caceres against Steven Peterson. Nah, couldn't really give two shits about this. Two shits about this fight, if I'm being honest with you. I think that Alex Caceres is kind of lucky that, I mean, to be fair to the guy, he's had a lot of fights in the UFC. He's like a 14-12 guy, but I want to say probably 80%, maybe 85% of his fights are in the UFC, and he's taken a lot of L's in the UFC. And there's other times where he's looked really good. I always bring up the Cole Miller fight, but when you look, I mean, he got beat by Kron Gracie in Gracie's UFC debut, and you go to the ground with Kron Gracie, you're in deep shit. That's what happened in that one there. Before that, fought really close with like Martin Bravo, who I don't think is that great, if I'm being honest with you. He got taken down easily in that fight, got lit up with counter strikes in that fight. And the one thing with Steven Peterson, like, he is easy to hit. His striking defense is pretty non-existent. He gets hit really easily. But what he is, he's durable, he's tough, never stops, keeps coming forward. And yeah, I don't think I can trust Alex Caceres anymore. I really don't. And what I like from Peterson, I mean, I bet him last time against Luis Pena, and people were telling me that you're wasting your money there. And pretty much I did, because Pena had his way with him and won fairly convincingly. But what he is, he's in your face. He doesn't like sit back. You're going to have like, I think Caceres is definitely going to be the longer fighter. He's the rangier fighter. You have to be careful with chokes and so on. Caceres comes from that kind of awkward southpaw stand as well. But I think Steven will land more. I think he will get takedowns as well. If Martin Bravo can get takedowns, I think that Steven Peterson can get takedowns. So yeah, not that I've looked into it super aggressively, but I'm going to take Steven Peterson in this one to win via a decision. I think his output and his volume is going to be too much. I think he can mix that in with takedowns. So I'll pick Steven Peterson for the win there. I might that might come back to bite me in the ass, because Steven Peterson, yeah, didn't look really great against Luis Pena, and I thought he would have a fairly decent time in that one. But I'll pick him in this one. Caceres is pretty much a fade at this point, in my opinion. Heavyweight division, Andrei Arlovski against Ben Rothwell. I've got Ben Rothwell. This is the rematch from years ago when Arlovski actually knocked him out. I just don't know. You can't pick Andrei Arlovski, I don't think. I think he signed a new contract as well, which is crazy to me that the UFC have signed him to another contract, considering the amount of losses the guy's taken in like his last 10 fights. I want to say he's like 8-2 in his last 10 UFC bouts. With his wins going over Stefan Struve, who's retired, Junior Albini, who's no longer in the UFC, Went to a no contest with Walt Harris after he lost that one, but Walt did something, or he tested positive for something. Lost to Augusto Sakai. To be fair to him, I thought he was a little bit unlucky in that fight because his volume was decent and he was stopping the attempted takedowns of Augusto Sakai. And if Sakai got him to the ground, I thought he would have been in trouble. So that could have been a win on his side, actually. I think I gave it to Sakai, but he probably felt a little bit unlucky with that one there. Then the Shamil fight, he just got outboxed really against Shamil, and that was a close fight. Shamil can be known for those kind of fights where he can win those close ones. And then lost to Tai Tuivasa. Like I say, Ben Rothwell, I thought got kind of screwed against Blagoy Ivanov. I had money on Ben Rothwell, and I felt kind of dirty. I felt like I was robbed a little bit in that one there. It was a close back and forward fight in the feet, but it was a typical Blagoy Ivanov kind of fight where I think with a little more output, then he could have won that one there. But it was his first fight in 3 years. He kind of looked a little bit rusty, if I'm being honest with you. I just think he'll have more volume than Rothwell. I think he can maybe tie him up and just be a little bit more awkward. Not that I really want to bet this fight. I'd even look at it, to be honest with you. I got screwed last time out, so I'm going to kind of stay away from it here. But I'm going to pick Ben Rothwell. I'll pick him via knockout in the second round there. Alexander Hernandez against Francisco Trinaldo up next. I've got a very close eye in this fight. I'm really interested to see what Hernandez is going to do after that brutal beating that he took at the hands of Cowboy Cerrone back in Brooklyn in January, where a lot of people were super high on him. I had people coming on my channel like going at me hard for picking Cowboy Cerrone, saying that Hernandez is going to tear through him, and I think that was Cowboy's first fight back at 155. And yeah, people were tearing into me something rotten, but I thought Cerrone had the skills to really put it on a young kid, and I wasn't like, I bet him in the fight against Olivier Aubin-Mercier, which I took a lot from in that fight. I think I bet him as an underdog in that one and won. I didn't really take too much away from the Dariush fight because it was so quick, but I took a lot away from the second fight, and I just thought his skill set wasn't matching up well with what Cerrone has to offer. And Cerrone came out there and he beat that kid up badly. I thought he'd be out a little bit longer than that, but he's taken 6 months or so off. So I'm interested to see him again, but he's got a very tough out in Francisco Trinaldo. Like I said, I learned a lot from him in that fight with Cerrone as well. We all know what you're going to get with Masaran Duba. He is, and I say this every time, a hard-nosed bastard. He is a tough guy to face. You very rarely see him getting taken out. Kevin Lee is the only guy that really comes to mind when you look at his losses. I think in the UFC, everybody else is maybe Holman, was it? Or Kesa? Holman. I think it was maybe Holman, maybe take him out as well. But last year, he kind of retired Evan Durham, body kick. He's got a really good kind of technical kickboxing game. But his kind of biggest thing is that he's 40 years old. He kind of fades a little bit, but he's still a hard guy to get out of there. He's a hard guy to face. So I'm interested to see what Hernandez's game plan is going to be, because it's hard to take. I don't want to say it's hard to take Masaran down. You can take him down, but he can also take you down as well. Dunham took him down very briefly. I know Jim Miller did in that fight, but he's a hard guy to keep down. You're not going to keep him there for large parts of the fight, in my opinion, and you're going to have an extensive kind of submission game, kind of like what Kevin Lee had. Kevin Lee's a very dangerous guy with submissions, and he's very long with his limbs as well, but super aggressive on the feet. I like Trinaldo on the feet a little bit more than I do Hernandez. I can see Hernandez really going after the takedowns here, like he did with Olivier Aubin-Mercier, and but from then he really started to tire out. Now, not saying that Trinaldo's not going to tire out as well, but Trinaldo is just tough. And like he comes forward, he did it in the James Vick fight. He was clearly down, but in that third round he came after James Vick, won that round. Yeah, I like Francisco Trinaldo here. I've seen a lot of people on Hernandez, or probably some people are going to say that's a bad pick, blah blah blah. It is what it is. I like what I see from Trinaldo in a very, very close fight. Like I say, Hernandez, we're going to see what he's all about here. I can see the guys in the chat there. Hi, what's up, guys? We're going to see what he's all about here. But I fancy taking a shot on Trinaldo in a very, very close fight. I see Hernandez starting off really quick, but then towards the end, I see Trinaldo maybe winning a couple of the last rounds and winning a 29-28 decision. So I'll go Masaran Duba for the W there. James Vick against Dan Hooker. Yeah. This is a good fight. I'm going to come out and say I'm picking James Vick. I'm still a fan of his skill set, but there's obviously big flaws with his game, with his defense. It is there for all to see. The guy can't take a shot, and he's striking defense. His head, he throw a strike, and when he's moving back, his head straight in there. It's there to be hit with a really good precision shot if you can catch it. I just don't know whether Dan Hooker's going to be the guy to kind of catch that shot. He's not going to be throwing knees because James Vick's a far bigger opponent here. So some of his most dangerous attributes, his knees in the clinch and so on, or in open space really, are not really going to be there for him, not unless he's throwing obviously big, massive flying knees or whatever. But you don't see Dan Hooker at the stage where he's the smaller guy, and he is the smaller guy here. Reach-wise, I think it's fairly even. I remember looking at that a couple of days ago, but there's a 3-inch difference, and James Vick can use his reach fairly well. I think his boxing's really, really good. I think his jiu-jitsu, but he does take a lot of shots, and this cut to 155 is a killer. I'm kind of a little bit thinking, why is he still making that cut after that after that fight where he took a lot of damage against Paul Felder and before that against Justin Gaethje. I think 170 is the division. You've seen that people that are moving up, they're having better fights. They're looking a lot better, obviously, not killing themselves. And I do think it's time for James Vick to move up. But I like him in this matchup because I don't think Dan Hooker's going to be able to use some of his skills that he has done against smaller opponents. Like I say, loads of people were on Dan Hooker big time against Edson Barboza. I was on the other side. I loved Barboza in that fight. And he took an absolute beating in that fight. It was horrible to watch. When I went back and watched it yesterday, it was just a bad fight. I think the team, his coaches, should have threw in the towel some point during that fight because he was taking so much damage. He was wincing over in pain at body shots, and he took so much damage in that fight. I thought he'd be out for a full year. I thought it'd be later in the year we'd see him. He's coming back 7 months later. So he's obviously all healed up, ready to go. And like James Vick's not really going to hurt you with those big body shots or anything at all, or like be explosive like Edson Barboza is. He's going to want to use his range, pick you apart. And I personally think he can do that. And I don't think Dan Hooker can use some of his weapons that he has in previous fights. So that's the reason I'm going with James Vick. I know I'll probably cop some shit for that because people don't seem to like James Vick all that much. He does talk a big game sometimes. But I've got James Vick to win here. I'm a little bit surprised he was a 155 underdog like a few days ago. I think that's been bet down a little bit, but I think it's pretty much a pick 'em fight, or for me, a slight edge on James Vick. But good fight. Looking forward to watching that one. But I've got James Vick to win. I might actually pick him via submission. I think they might get in a clinch battle or something, and he might catch him with a submission. So I'll go James Vick there. Greg Hardy against Juan Adams. Both bums in my opinion, but I see what in Greg Hardy, an athlete who I think is dedicated to the game. Juan Adams to me doesn't look like he's dedicated to the game. You can see that, but how he kind of looks after himself outside the cage. He's eating all these big foods and ballooning back up to over 300 pounds, not staying in shape, and that shows in his fight. He gasses very, very badly. Like in that fight with Arjun Bula, he had the better of the striking kind of parts of that fight, but we get taken down against Arjun Bula, and you knew that was the big thing in Bula's game plan was to take him down. I bet Arjun Bula on that fight and got him at dog odds, which was nice. I think it was plus 115. So, and this line has actually come back down again from Greg Hardy's minus 105. In certain parts of America, he's plus 105. So that's, if I can get, I'll be honest, I'll come out and say I'm really thinking about betting Greg Hardy here. I think but the thing is that's scaring me is and I said this to a couple of people on, I think he's a little bit of a liability. I just don't know what I'm going to get, because is he going to do something stupid? I know he did that with the Crowder fight, which a fight I think he was winning. And then you look at the Smolikov fight. I don't even want to talk about that fight, really. It was just a bum show. Yeah, I'm going to get through this fight. I'm not high on Juan Adams. I think Greg Hardy wants this more than what Juan Adams is. He's putting the time in. So I'll go Greg Hardy. I think he's more explosive, faster, hits harder. But there's a little bit of needle between these two, so he might come out there, expose himself, and eat a shot. Big guys, it can happen. It can hurt him. So I've got Greg Hardy via TKO, round number 1 there in that one. I think he gets him out quick. Alexei Oliynik against Walt Harris. I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm going to keep picking against Alexei Oliynik. Hopefully that kind of curse of me picking against him, because I picked against him for so long and kept losing fights. I mean, the Albini one, the Mark Hunt one, the Travis Brown one. But he got, to be fair, he came out super aggressive against Overeem, and I think that was his kind of best thing to do, was to come out there and try and be aggressive. But Overeem's got too many tools, too many things in his arsenal to really hurt him. He couldn't really get him down. I think that even if he could, I think Overeem would deal with him fairly well. But on the feet, clinch, knees, punches, you knew he was in trouble there. The big thing here is Walt Harris has got that Golden Gloves background. He's got some really decent boxing. Coming off that win over Arlovski that got turned to no contest. He's going to be the clear better guy on the feet. But Oleynik's he's awkward. He's kind of throws looping strikes to kind of entice you into getting into the clinch. Once you get into the clinch, the guy will flop to his back. He's grabbed you in a triangle, and you could be in full mount, and you're still tapping to this guy. So it's crazy. For me, it's just if Walt Harris can stay at range, pop him with a shot. He's coming over a win over Sergey Spivak, actually, I think it was. And Spivak, geez, he was rotten. But he's got the clear advantage on the feet. Just don't do anything stupid. Fight a boring fight until he starts start grabbing out for you, and then he's there for clear counter strikes. And I think that's what he can do here. Would it surprise me if Oleynik took this to the mat and somehow found a submission? No, because the guy just does it. He's a crazy fucker when it comes to that. But I'll pick Walt Harris, second round TKO victory there. I've got him there, yeah. So Walt Harris over Oleynik, second round TKO. And the main event of the night, Rafael dos Anjos against Leon Edwards. Really interesting main event. I'll put my hand up straight away. I'm really struggling to pick a winner here. Yeah, and I was watching fights last night. I was asking a few people what their thoughts on it are, and maybe some people haven't watched it as early as I have. But I'm struggling to really pick a winner on this one. And I'll let you know who I'm going with right now. I'm going with Leon Edwards. But I always kind of, not that I go against Dos Anjos, I went against him against Kevin Lee. I thought Kevin Lee would look rejuvenated at 170. And really, he expended a lot of energy in that fight. And Dos Anjos, being the grizzled vet, the former champion that he is, found a way to really put it on Kevin Lee, deplete that gas tank. Kevin Lee obviously took him down a lot of times, but Dos Anjos did as well. Reverse position a few times, advanced position a few times. And I think he will only really lose to people outside the elite of that division. Obviously, your Covingtons, your Usman, they're the top two guys in the division. So, like, Dos Anjos got kind of dealt with the pressure there. Leon Edwards, I don't think's got the pressure of those two guys. He's definitely not got the wrestling chops that those two guys are. So this is why I think some of these rounds could be super, super close. I love Dos Anjos' low kicks. That's something that immediately came out to me. But Leon Edwards, what really impressed me with his fight with Gunnar Nelson is he initiated some of the takedowns, got some really decent positions actually on Gunnar Nelson. Obviously, gonna find a way to mount at the end of that fight, but it was a good fight for Leon. A little bit surprised it went to the split decision. I had him pretty clearly maybe winning 2-1, and then obviously there was the whole Masvidal incident beforehand, but caught Gunny with a beautiful elbow right in the orbital bone in the second round, which I think it broke the orbital. But he is the bigger guy here. And that's obviously, when you look at Dos Anjos moving up to 170, he's obviously going to be the smaller guy in majority of his fights. But Rocky's a big 170, 70-pounder, 6 foot tall. I think he's got a reach advantage. Both guys are southpaws. He's going to... I'm just interested to see what Leon Edwards' game plan is going to be, because I think if they fight at distance, I think he can fight at distance. I think he's fairly decent with that. He showed that in the Cerrone fight, that he can mix up with a really high caliber striker. But Dos Anjos is very, very good with his counter striking. He's pretty aggressive himself. He's got a high output. He mixes it up well. When it goes to the ground, you would think that Dos Anjos, being a black belt, would have the advantage, but Edwards comes from a really good camp in the UK, like a rising camp at Renegade with good people there, good jiu-jitsu guys as well, who've got a clear love for the jiu-jitsu side of it. Like, criminally underrated. I think I've underrated him at points as well. I've seen him come through the European circuit, and I mean, look at some of his wins. Vicente Luque, Cerrone, Gunny. Now he's getting a former champion in there as well. Yeah, I think it is a very tough fight. I haven't got the best of reads on it, but I think Leon Edwards is just going to steal some of these rounds with his length, maybe tying up Dos Anjos a little bit, and maybe kind of coming off the cage and hitting him with some kind of dirty boxing on the cage. But then it's a weird fight to me, because I think he'll get takedowns, but I don't think he'll keep Dos Anjos there. But I can maybe see Dos Anjos possibly getting Edwards down. Edwards is a big dude. Like, I've not got a really good read on this. I don't think I'm going to bet it, not unless I watch some more fights so that we can find some confidence to kind of warrant me betting on Leon Edwards. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy this one, but I'm going to pick Leon Edwards for your decision. Maybe a very, very close decision. And plus, Dos Anjos he's coming back. Was it 7 weeks? Yeah, so he fought May 18th, so 8 weeks. It's a pretty quick turnaround in a 5-round fight, and he took some damage in that fight with Kevin Lee. So it's a quick turnaround. But I'm going to go Rocky Edwards for the main event win there. So that's my picks for UFC San Antonio. UFC 240 is next week. Looking forward to... I don't think it's the best card, but I'm looking forward to some of the guys on there. Sarukian's one of the guys I'm hugely high on. So until next week, I see all the guys in the chat. Appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll be back next week, and let's hopefully cash some bets this weekend. And bet MMA tips if you want to see what I'm betting. Will Martin MMA, and you can see if I'm going to win or lose some money this weekend. Hopefully win. But until UFC 240 next week, all the best. Enjoy the fight card when it comes around this Saturday night.